I promise I was super tempted to get a Barbenheimer t-shirt just for making this review, but I couldn't really justify that purchase, especially since I'd probably never wear that again. So I settled for something that's still pretty brightly colored at least. I mean, the primary color in this movie is pink, but there is some green in there too. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Josh. Today we're going to be talking about the Barbie movie, which, how do I review this? I mean, I grew up with a sister who did own Barbies, but I never played with them as a kid myself, so I feel like I'm not exactly the target audience for this. And yes, all of the Easter eggs are there. The entire movie is filled to the brim with different variations of Barbie and Ken dolls, as well as all the accessories you can imagine. However, this being a Greta Gerwig movie means that it also has a lot of social commentary in it, not just about the Barbie brand, but also about society as a whole. So this isn't just for people who played with the toys. I think you could know very little about the Barbie brand and still go into this and get a lot from it. I want to be as vague about the plot of this as possible because I personally didn't know much about the story going in, and I think a lot of people should have that experience. So the gist of it is that there's the real world and there's Barbie Land, which is where all of the dolls reside. Margot Robbie stars as the main Barbie. I think she's credited as the stereotypical Barbie, but it does get confusing when there are so many different characters that share the same name, and the movie does joke about that a ton. You see it in the trailer. Eventually some things start happening in her life that suggest that something is changing, and this sends her on a journey into the real world to sort of discover what her purpose is. She's accompanied by Ken, played by Ryan Gosling, among many other Kens that are in the film. Will Ferrell plays the CEO of Mattel, and he's eventually after her for some reason that's really not well explained. The characters wind up going through some real existential crisis type stuff. Some of it really works, some of it doesn't, particularly towards the end when it starts to get really heavy-handed. And this is a really funny movie, so it just feels out of place when they try to insert this really profound message about femininity and humanity. The story is also just a lot less interesting when it's taking place in the real world. We'll talk more about Barbie Land in a few minutes, but the human characters that they encounter on their journey into the real world often feel like an unnecessary diversion. There's a young girl in the movie that I thought was going to sort of be the heart and soul of it, and she somewhat is at times, but not to the degree that I hoped for. And some of the stuff involving the social commentary was just way too on the nose for me. It's like, the movie could use a little bit of subtlety. That's all I'll say. With that said, I don't think I'm underselling it when I say that this movie is genuinely hilarious. I mean, this is probably the most I've laughed in a theater all year. Ryan Gosling got a lot of laughs out of me. He just really embodies the mannerisms of a self-conscious, really oblivious Ken doll perfectly. The set designs and dressings are near perfect. The costuming is near perfect. I really enjoy the dance and song numbers. In fact, this movie really would have been better off, in my opinion, if the whole thing was a musical. I feel like you could take any moment within Barbie Land, pause it, and just stare at the frame for like 5 minutes and be able to pick out so many details in the background. And it's just one of those sets that I really wish I could have walked into and just looked at it before they shot the scene. Really impressive stuff there. In the end, guys, I was entertained by Barbie. I laughed a lot. I enjoyed the overarching story, even if I think it bites off way more than it can chew at times. I can also weirdly see people asking the question, who was this movie made for? Because it's clearly not a kid's movie. It's rated PG-13. It has some very adult jokes in it, and it does dive into a lot of social commentary that kids won't pick up on as well. So there isn't really a specific audience that I think is going to jive with this perfectly, but as someone who just loves film like myself, it's easy to overlook that, and personally, I think there's plenty to enjoy here, even if it's not one of Greta Gerwig's strongest films. I'm gonna give Barbie 3.5 out of 5 stars. I can already tell that people are going to be pissed that I gave Barbie the same rating that I gave The Flash, but you know what? I'm never going to sugarcoat my response. I'm always going to give an honest take on the films that I see. And again, I didn't even really dislike the film at all. I'm giving it a pretty positive rating. I just don't think it's quite the masterpiece that a lot of critics will tell you it is. So those are my thoughts on the Barbie movie. Be sure to join me down in the comments. Let me know what you think of it. How does it compare to Greta Gerwig's other films like Lady Bird and Little Women? Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.